Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. We had a little emergency here this morning, had to deal with. Let me get the screen sharing going. All right. Okay. All right. Here we are, Friday morning. The market just opening up. And so far, it's looking like we are kind of still in the sideways mode that we've been experiencing for the last couple of days. Some rather broad ranges, but the market not really going anywhere, it seems. The eagle now near the bottom end of the trading range. And I would anticipate a little bit of a pushback from here, maybe even a hard edge bounce. It is still very early, however. The hawk producing now a first micro-macro cross lower. Note how before this move lower, though, we had a very, very deep retrace in the hawk. Got up there into some yellow bars and green bars. That's very often an indication that the market may be going the other way. You know, there were some very, very bullish tendencies going on there. So, that said, I may entertain the possibility of a counter trend trade. And for those who missed it earlier, I'm trading off my laptop this week. I'm out of town. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to focus primarily on the Raptor chart because I know there's a lot of Raptor traders, new Raptor traders in the room. DTS traders, if you have questions, please ask. And I will be happy to address them for you. Likewise for the Raptor traders, please ask your questions. Okay, so we did get a really quick little buy signal right here. Kind of a little bit of a test of the extreme, not the textbook test of the extreme, that's for sure. Pretty quiet for a Friday morning though, overall. All right, looks like we're going to get a second push opportunity on this signal and maybe even a test of the extreme. That would complete our number 2 signal. That would actually be a very nice opportunity for us. All right, not much of a test of the extreme, but I have to admit I am a little bit more bullish, so I am going to take a look at getting on board here early. Oops, what the heck? All right, I'm just going to buy in if it trades through that hash mark. No, not yet. Okay, let's try this again. There we go, that's better. So I can just park my order there now. We are into the hard edge, so whenever you're in the hard edge, this is oftentimes when the market will try to recover the trend. So we're into the hard edge. There could be a sell signal from here, but you see how we're starting to get a little bit flat. If you connect the swing lows here, it's almost starting to look like the market is bottoming out. Right? I can't say for sure, but that is the way that it appears at the moment. This is still very early, though. We're only about 7 minutes into the day. So this is a very aggressive move on my part, especially because it is counter trend. And as I've mentioned before, the thing with counter trend trades, what you're doing is you're trading probabilities for lower risk, a lower dollar risk amount, I should say. There's at least a 50-50 chance this trade will fail. However, I know precisely where to place my stops, and as such, I'm able to cap my risk a little bit more efficiently than if I were attempting a with trend trade. We are starting to get a little bit of bullishness in the band, however. So the filter, the Raptor filter, starting to break up a little bit. I don't want this leg here to turn into just a bear flag, obviously. I am prepared for a bigger test of the extreme, a bigger pullback. Hopefully not too big. And, you know, normally I don't try to trade this early in the day. Well, if the buyers are going to pull this together, they got to do it pretty quick because here come the sellers. The sellers mounting a very good rally off of that hard edge, and I bet if I shot a trend line off the highs, that would be pretty close to the trend line as well. The hawk still very conflicted. The falcon as well. The trend line keeps waffling here. Now a very good test of the extreme on the Raptor. And if the market swings higher from here and produces a buy signal, that would be a very good opportunity as well. Perhaps even a better opportunity than the one I tried to get on board with. Very important bar for my trade here. And all I'm trying to do is I took advantage of a number 2 signal. Actually, I don't know if that printed as a number 2, whether the retrace was deep enough here, but the parameters were there. I suspected that the market might be getting a little bit more bullish, so I was looking for a retest, some sort of evidence that the market can no longer head lower or doesn't want to head lower. And then I was looking for a buying opportunity. And that's pretty much, in a nutshell, what trading is. You try to determine if there's a trend, which way the market is trending, if it's trending, and then you try to trade accordingly. No, the buyers were not there. All right, well, if the market doesn't want to go up, it makes it that much more probable that it's going to want to go down. So while losing trade is certainly unpleasant, it sometimes gives us the information that we need. I got to keep going back here to the Eagle chart so I can see where I am relative to the bigger scheme of things. And excuse me, I don't mean to be complaining about it all the time, but I'm really quite limited with my laptop monitor here. I'm spoiled having my 3 monitors at home. All right, here we go with, again, a little bit of a pushback. I hate it when it seems like I had the right idea, but I was just too early. Yeah, Phil, you nailed it. Phil says in the last week, I've never seen such a slow market. No trade in May. It's crazy, isn't it? This is very often how the markets get during summer. End of July, early August. It's like, is this thing on? That's why I'm glad they on the new trade manager, the facelifted trade manager, they have the bid and ask bars again, because there were a lot of times I thought I'd lost my data feed. The market was that slow. But yeah, you're right, Phil. It's crazy slow. I guess all I can say is that the market must be fairly content where it's at and doesn't feel like it has to move higher or lower. The temptation, of course, is when the market is slow to try to force the market, and very often people will start looking at other markets as well. Certainly you can, look at other markets, you can explore other markets. It's good to have another go-to. But if you're just looking at another stock index, it's probably going to be the same. If the NASDAQ is slow, the Russell is slow, the E-mini is slow, the mini Dow is slow. I used to follow soybeans just for something different, and the soybean market can make some very nice moves. What's interesting about soybeans is that once the market settles on a direction for the day, it just seems to keep going. Let's see here, I'll show you what I mean. And I'll just do this quickly on a 5-minute chart, because that'll be easy for everyone. Oh, wait a minute, I know what I can do. I bet I have a template saved. And this will give me an opportunity to, oh no, I can't do the, sorry, I'm thinking out loud here. I'll show you on the Falcon. I was going to show you how to do the faster settings on your Raptor, but of course I'm running the older version of the Raptor. Okay, so here now soybeans. Oh, doggone it. I can't do two things at once. I am not a multitasker. My wife will be the first to tell you that. Okay, so here now, the soybean market. This also including the overnight, but let's go here to yesterday. Let's see what happened with soybeans yesterday. Oh, sure, they're going to make a liar out of me. Yesterday actually looks like it was, oh, okay, it was a pretty good day. Actually, a very active day. Maybe I should be watching soybeans. There's lots going on in the soybean market in the summertime. In fact, there's so much going on here that maybe I should stay with the default setting. A lot of times we'll go to the faster setting for a larger tick market. So you get a market like soybeans trading at 12.50 a tick. Sometimes you need to go to the faster settings. Okay, so here soybeans open, they waffle for a little bit, they settle on a direction, nice move up. They waffle for a little bit, they break down, stop it, and a decent move lower. Let's go back another day. The 8th looks like it was a little bit sideways, but this is typical of soybeans right here, where, like I said, once the market settles on a direction, they just tend to keep plotting. This day had a few little swings in it, but nothing detrimental. Here's another, oops, sorry, I think that's the same day. Can you tell I'm not used to my laptop? And here yet another day where the soybean market opens at 7:30? No, 6:30. So the market opens, comes down a little bit, reverses, seems to finally settle on a direction, and up it goes. All right, enough of that. Mark says there's some nice late filter entry signals available in soybeans for those of you looking to diversify. Phil asked how much a tick. It's $12.50 a tick for soybeans, but there is a mini soybean market as well. But because it tends to trend, once it establishes a direction, you can usually get by with a slightly tighter stop. It's not really in soybeans' nature to, like I say, once it commits to a direction to start swinging back and forth, trying to run stops, unlike our friend the NASDAQ right here. Oh, I see. Mark says no in the chart you just showed. Yeah, and you can, you know what, you can do that on your own. You can, what I would do if I'm looking at a new market or considering a new market, and let's say, you know, you're looking at something like late filter entries, well, just go through your chart and see how does the market respond to the high probability signals, to the trend change signals, to the late filter entry signals. Are there enough of them? Do they ever fail? Because you will get the odd signal that will fail as well, even if it is such a reliable signal like a late filter entry. Sometimes they're not going to work out. And then you have to say, well, why didn't it work out? Oh, it didn't work out because maybe it was after hours or going into the close or whatever. I'll leave it for you to decipher. If you're totally stumped, you can always send me a screenshot and I will give you my input for what that's worth. Yeah, Phil makes a good comment here if regarding trends and whatnot. If the market is committed, if you don't get in at the major long-term trends for an all-day move, scalping is impossible. And that's so true. It's so much easier to trade when everything is in sync. And to that end, very often what I'll do as well is I will take a look at a daily chart just to see how things line up in the daily perspective. And you can see right now the market very, very bullish. Well, why did my buy signal not work out then, you stinkers? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 very strong bullish type days. All right, maybe I will try another buy then, stay with it, or try to stay with the longer term trend. This was a nice hard edge bounce, by the way. This is a very, very quick counter trend signal. It really doesn't qualify, but if you're looking to stay with the longer term trend, you're looking really for any buying opportunities, assuming, of course, the market's going to try to continue higher today. I did this before where we were just looking at, like I say, with trend opportunities. If we determine that, okay, the market trend is up long term, I'm just going to look for buying opportunities. You can use these secondary signals, what we refer to as discretionary signals, as opportunities to get into a trade. This does not qualify as one of our high probability signals because there hasn't been a decent test of the extreme here. This now looks like going to be the third attempt to try to rally the market. We'll see whether they get any traction on that. is Friday as well. The market's tending, sometimes there's some profit taking on Fridays. If we're in a sideways trading range, however, okay, we're up near these highs. If the market breaches these highs, then we can assume that we should get two moves in the direction of the breakout. This would be move number one. And then there's going to be a little bit of a pullback or a retrace. And then we can look for move number two. So, but first things first. First, we got to get above this 69, 54, 55 zone. And Trade Forecaster showing us that we are pretty much in scalp mode at the moment, and that would certainly make sense. Nice trend change here on the Falcon, as well as a first micro macro cross on the Hawk. So we got a few things in sync here. Now we have hit the high probability profit target, or it looks like we hit the high profit. There we go, get up there another tick. We would hit the high probability profit objective. There we go. We just tagged it there for a second. So the profit is there for the Raptor trade. Like I said, though, I don't mean to be beating this to death, but I'm just going to run or attempt to run the trades out today. Next Thursday, we'll be back home. All right, let's see how the ATR is handling the market. Okay, getting a little bit of a double top type thing going on. I'll move now into the ATR mode. Parabolics would have stopped me out on this little swing here, would have protected a little bit more open profit. Big hurdle now at 69, 62, 62 quarter. And, oh, I was going to say, if the buyers don't recover this pretty quick, looks like I'm going to get tagged here on my ATR stop. Okay, big push now. This is where I need Tony to come in and with his 10,000 contracts and push the market over the hump for me, but Tony's not in the room. There we go. Come on, get over there. Or get Ray here with his push. Oh, he always used to break me up when he did that. They're trying, but they're not having a lot of luck. 69, 63, a real sticky spot for the market. They could try to retrace back now to the hard edge. Now that the clouds are fully crossed, you probably got a number one signal printing right here. This is going to be a pretty good second push opportunity. I wouldn't necessarily enter right on the hash mark, but maybe give it a couple ticks, maybe enter 69.63 half, 69.63 3/4. The reason being, we've obviously got some resistance here. And what you don't want is the market just to break by 2 or 3 ticks and then reverse. However, there is a lot of selling going on here. So if the market does get up there high enough that you start to trip up some of those sellers' exit orders, and those would be buy orders, by the way, then we should see the market rally a little bit higher from there. Just hanging on by our toenails here. Oh, look at that. It might even ride out the swing. I don't think so, but we'll see. No, I think I'm going to get tapped here in a second as the market tries to get back toward the hard edge. There we go. So, like I said, we do have a number one signal up here, and it looks like 69.62 half is the high. I would probably, like I mentioned before, give it at least a few extra ticks. And my initial stop, I would try to keep a little bit deeper. This signal that's printing now, in essence, it is a hard edge bounce. It's a number 3 signal, even though technically we did not encounter the hard edge. But you'll see we're only a tick off. When it gets that close, I still consider it a hard edge bounce. So if you wanted the earlier entry, there it is. Okay, and hopefully that is far enough away that we're getting some serious buyers buying into the market. Notice how the market is stalling here a little bit. So obviously there's some more selling to deal with. Don't know if I want to go back to the ATR stop just yet, but I think I will tighten my trade a little. Oh, come on. Don't stop now. You guys were doing so well. Yeah, the better stop would be back here toward the hard edge. So my stops might be a little bit cozy. I may pull them a little bit, get them out of the way. Leave them back there at their initial stop just for a little bit longer. Just curious where the trend line is falling. Okay, we're back into the hard edge. Now this signal here, the sell signal, probably printed as a number 2 on your Raptor system. And this now the last chance really for the buyers to rally this market up. If they fail at this point, there is a pretty good chance that the sellers could try to push the market down. I'm going to mute my mic here for a second because there's a bunch of construction equipment rolling past, and you'll probably find it a little annoying. So all I'm going to do is adjust my stops as the market allows. Well, that's too bad. There should have been a little bit more follow through off of that breakout. You saw how the market made a quick little uptick there, spurred on in part by my manipulation of the market with my mouse. wonder if we're getting a little top heavy. Let's get the broader view of what's going on here. Well, we broke this swing high as well. That would tend to suggest that the market is going to remain bullish. Like I say, whenever you break a significant swing, you can expect two moves in the direction of the breakout. So this first breakout move is move one. I don't know if that was move number two there. That seems kind of small. Now, in hindsight, it may well turn out to be move number two, but we shall see. While we're waiting on the market, I do need to close up the room early today. I do apologize, but I've got an appointment in the city that I need to get to. So we'll be closing up the trading room here at the bottom of the hour. All right, for those of you inclined, here now a nice little hard edge bounce. Oh, just initiated. So I'm going to just hit my buy market button. And the tricky part for this trade is the stop placement, because what you saw here on the Eagle is that if the market is not ready to rally yet, it could pull back probably as far as the cresting in the trading band. If you're at a total loss where to place the stop, very often if you pay attention to where the trading band, or if you're looking at your Falcon where the crests are, that's very often a pretty good hiding spot. Obviously, the deeper the better. The ideal stop, see, here's the issue with the with trend trade. The ideal stop is actually way down here. And let me demonstrate that for you. So if you were going with this is the deal with the with trend trade, right? The with trend trade pretty much requires a stop way down here. And yes, it is very uncomfortable because obviously we don't want that stop to get hit. However, you don't want to get tagged prematurely either. So always, I would recommend trying to run the biggest stop you can afford. Thanks, David. David giving me the heads up. There's long-term resistance at 69.69.5. That's where the market turned here. We'll see whether the bulls manage one more push higher. All right, come on, here we go. The big push now. Yeah, Yeah, Phil says no commitment in the NASDAQ. That is for sure. Very, very sideways. Drifting higher, but begrudgingly so. So you can see the market getting a little shy around this whole 69.70 area, and that's probably, as David mentioned, there's some long-term resistance kind of in this zone here. So right now the sellers knocking the market down. Buyers have got to come back from here. And at this point I can probably consider bringing my stops up a bit. I may give them a little bit more room than that still, but there we go. That looks like a decent stop. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm just watching to see how the market behaves. Every time it gets higher, every time it gets lower, and I don't want to roll my stop just yet. Even here, I'm at risk of having an overly tight stop. I'd be better off below 50, 69.50. All right, there we go. A couple of ticks below 69.50. So we're getting ourselves another little tight sideways trading range between the highs at around this swing high around 69.68, that one around 69.70. These swing lows here around 69.57, this one at 69.60. Not quite ready to bail on the trade yet, but I'm getting there. Come on, just get above that bar. Doggone it. All right, here we go. Break even, and yeah. I would have been happy to leave my stops back if they got above 69.65, which appears to be the high of that bar, and maybe I got a little bit too anxious. One thing about day trading is you get to see how the bars unfold. You get to witness the struggle firsthand. And right now, oh, see, there they go. I was going to say right now, there's a little bit more of a bull struggle than a bear struggle, it seems. Okay, we've got another hard edge bounce. So we got a trend line that's looking something like this. Okay, so you see how the market reacted there? There's some selling going on there. So that means I can place my entry order, say, a little bit above there. Again, I'm still bullish because of the longer term. And I'm treating this now, this reaction, as a second push opportunity. I'm not waiting for the bar to actually give me the full reverse, rather just watching the bar unfold, considering that as good as a second push. They seem to be building a little bit of pressure here, though. If we get a breakout today, it may actually have some giddy up to it. And I can do the same thing with the trend line here. You can see how the market's been behaving. Actually, maybe I will adjust this slightly to be more like that. And we got this great big sideways wedgie. And now we're coming back with another number 2 signal. But I would do the same thing as what we did right here. I would see how the market responds to the trend line. If I get a second push off of the trend line, well, it looks like there might be some buying where my earlier trend line was drawn. Yeah, Mark says big sideways wedgies hurt. Yes, they do. Thanks, David. David reminding me the high of opening range 69.62.5. So the market doing a little bit of a retest after a short breakout or a mild breakout of the opening range, the high. You could do an OCO type order here if you wanted. I would still like to hold out and see how the market responds to the bottom end here. I don't know if that's enough of a retest to consider it a second push entry. Well, it's Beautiful spring day here in the Pacific Northwest. It's just going to be gorgeous this weekend. I got lots to do, more than I wanted to do. I like my weekends free. Yes, I know I shouldn't be like that, but when you have people after you for stuff all the time, it's nice just to have some time to yourself. All right, here they go again. So it looks like this trend line can actually be adjusted slightly to be more like that. It's probably a little bit more accurate. So here you go. You have an OCO type opportunity if you wanted to bracket the trade. We can look to short down here. We can look to buy up here. Remember, these orders are live when you put them on your chart. So I tend to place them away and then I'll pull them into where I want them to be. Come on. And are they going to commit to anything here? I hope you're right, David. David says if it breaks the opening range high, it should head down to the opening range low. My thinking is still about this break, the breach of that swing high. Yes, the market is going sideways. It may drift a little bit lower, but the overall bias at the moment is still up. Now, again, that doesn't negate the possibility of a significant retrace, maybe back here to the 69.50 area. I think it would be very ambitious to see it go down here to 69.36. But I could see a move back to around 69.50 and then, or maybe even to 69.53.54 and then another push higher. So I'm a little bit more inclined to be a buyer because, as I pointed out, we've reached a significant swing point. The market owes me one more move higher. Where that move is going to come, we don't know. Could be right now, could be this afternoon. David asks, when you place a trend line on your chart and you go down, oops, hold on here. We'll just get back in there. I got tagged out on my OCO order because I did not have a stop in play. Shame on me. All right. David says, when you put a trend line or horizontal line and look at the properties, there's something called copy. What is that? Nope, I had it right the first time, I think. Oh, I see. So if you're highlighting your line and copy, you can copy the line and then you can paste it. You can go control. Oh, no, it doesn't do that. Oh, look at that. I don't know. I assumed it was just a copy function and copied it to your clipboard, but I better get that line out of the way so I don't stall the market. That's a darn good question, David. Oh, look at that. It's there. It looks like maybe when I hit copy, it reproduced itself on the same place. Let's try that. So we'll go to copy. And now I bet I have two lines here. One on top of the other. No, that's not it either. That is a NinjaTrader question, David. If you shoot that question over to NinjaTrader support, they will tell you precisely what that feature does. It's very helpful, by the way, folks, when you're emailing tech support or emailing me. If you send them a screenshot, if you send them an image, you can either save it like this, you can email it direct, or if you hit print screen on your computer and edit it in your painting software, it's very helpful. I have an email this morning I need to respond to later today. It goes something like, I had 2 losing trades in the Raptor. This is very frustrating. Period. That's it. That's all the information I got. I have no idea what markets he's trading. I have no idea where his entries were, what his exits were, why he even decided to take the trade. So, if you're looking for help of that nature, it really is beneficial if you provide a little bit more information. All right, gang, I got to run. I got to make this appointment. I will talk to you again on Monday. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. I'll talk to you then. Bye for now.